Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is Sportsballin, your home for all things sports. My name is Ethan Markham, and as always, I'm joined by Connor Smith and Jace Vincent. Are you guys ready to talk some ball?
Dude, absolutely. Best day of the week, last episode of the semester. Let's get after it.
Let's kept the season off strong here, so last episode, let's get it going.
Absolutely. We'll go ahead and jump right into things. The second round of the NBA playoffs are underway, so we'll start by recapping the first round. Most of the matchups ended up fairly predictable outside of the Warriors upsetting the Rockets and the Timberwolves defeating the Lakers. What are our overall thoughts on this first round?
I mean, it was pretty much chalk, but to me, I think there's really two teams you can look at and say these teams are going to be in the conference finals, the NBA finals. That's the Thunder and the Celtics. Obviously, you have the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are really, really good, but I think Boston's just as good, if not better, and they had the experience. They're the defending NBA champions. They went to the NBA finals, lost to Golden State. I think it was 2021. So I think those are probably the two front runners right now to win the West and the East.
Yeah, and I agree, really. I think Oklahoma City is going to make their way out of the West, and I think it's really because of what they did in this series against Memphis. Really, I know the last two games without Ja, and we kind of talked about it the last couple episodes, really, but I really think Oklahoma City is that team. They've built that young talent. They still have all those first-round picks still to come in the future, and I think that's really where they're going to continue to build their roster. On the stretch, and out of the East, I think it's going to be Boston or Cleveland. They are down 1-0 right now to Indiana. They play tomorrow. I would expect Cleveland to probably win in like 6 or 7, because I mean I'm not like high on Indiana, but so I think Cleveland should handle and probably get to the.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I think Cleveland's got a pretty good team. I will say I do think that Denver's actually going to beat OKC.
Really?
I do. I don't think that the Thunder have the experience to play. If they win the first two games, I think OKC runs away with it.
Yeah.
But if they go and it's 1-1, I think Denver probably wins in 6, maybe 5.
Oh,
I mean,
5 is
whoa. Five's
look,
a take.
a tough team. All right, they got a lot of experience. They've been in this situation plenty of times. Whereas the Thunder, as good as they are, it's a very young team. It's a very young and inexperienced team. I don't really know how they play towards the end of the season in this, here in the finals. So I don't know.
The way I look at that is, I mean, I expect Jokic. He's probably going to drop a triple-double.
That's what I'm saying.
Game. But yes, but are you still going to get that play from Russell Westbrook? Are you going to get that play from Christian Brown? Are you going to get that play from Aaron Gordon? I think that just Oklahoma City has like too much depth pieces that have been built up strong, like SGA and the Jalen Williams.
Chet Holmgren.
And Chet Holmgren. I think that just those players alone would be too much for Denver to overcome. I think they would kind of like take away everyone, not take away Jokic, though.
I kind of agree with him. I think they get eliminated, not this round though. Okay, call me crazy. It's gonna 100% come back to bite me. I think the Warriors make the NBA Finals.
You know what?
Like Golden State, talent-wise, like they have Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry. Past that, it's a bunch of role players. But this might be Steph's last year. He's gonna be like just trying as hard as he can to get to his last championship. I think they face off OKC and Golden State in the Western Conference Finals, and Golden State wins. And he wills them to the finals. I don't think they win, but he wills them to the finals like LeBron did in 2018.
I can see it, and a big part of that is not Steph Curry. It's simply because playoff Jimmy Butler is a different kind of player.
That's also true.
So
yeah.
I see it.
I mean, I could see Golden State making that far. They did look good against Houston.
I think, you know what? I think they might even be able to win it. We'll have to see.
Whoa.
After the Titans drafted Cam Ward with the first overall pick, it was announced that Oilers legend Warren Moon would be happy with having his number unretired so that Cam Ward can wear number 1 for the Titans. This will be the first time that the Titans have unretired any number. Fellas, what are our thoughts on this?
I'm really happy that Cam Ward gets to wear his number that he's worn probably since high school, middle school, whole life at that point. But I would not have done it if I'm Warren Moon. You're a Pro Football Hall of Famer. Over 35,000 total yards, 217 touchdowns as an Oiler in 10 years. I wouldn't have done it personally just because of my legacy that I had with that team. Like I think, I live by the statement people say, like what Lawrence Taylor said to Abdul Carter, get your own number, make your own legacy. I think that's how you should do it. But, I mean, W from Warren Moon giving Cam Ward his jersey number, so now Cam Ward gets to wear the number he's always had.
I mean, I would think that you would probably like wait a little bit longer really to get your jersey retired, like to unretire a jersey like further along into a career instead of giving it to like an unproven rookie that you're going putting all your chips in on for the future of the Titans. They did have a good draft though, but you're kind of just throwing all your chips into the center of the table really, and unretiring the jersey and all that stuff. I mean, I think it's a little bit premature really to do that stuff. Like wait until like see if he's proven and then get down the line.
Yeah, but also, like, don't you think if they're doing that, that means they really like this guy? They think
Yeah,
this
I
guy.
mean,
I'm not saying they don't like him.
I see the reasoning for it. I think it's a way of saying, hey, kid, this whole organization is around you, right? We believe in you. This is a sign of how much we believe in you. But come on. I mean, I agree with it's exactly like Lawrence Taylor said, hey, make your own legacy, build your own path. I can't get behind it. I really can't, especially considering that Warren Moon never played in Tennessee. So having his number retired is really one of the only ties he still has to the franchise. So for me, I just not really big on it. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we've got a late March Madness recap in college baseball up next.
As a mother, you don't want to have to worry about this bill is coming, but then she needs this chemo. That's a decision you shouldn't have to make.
El que San Jude no cobra ni un centavo para nosotros significa quitarnos todo ese estrés, esa preocupación y podernos enfocar en nuestra hija.
That was the first thing I was like, how are we going to do this? When St. Jude told us that we didn't have to pay a single bill, I was like, wow. They pretty much have saved us.
It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders, and now your focus is supporting this child.
There is not another hospital like St. Jude. The patient care is unmatchable. It saved my life. It saved my daughter's life. It saved our family.
There's a threat targeting America, one that's growing fast, but may still be hard to see: Lyme disease. Spread by tiny ticks, often smaller than the head of a pin, this dangerous disease is now more widespread than West Nile, tuberculosis, and HIV/AIDS combined. And if left untreated, it can lead to arthritis, facial paralysis, and even memory and concentration problems, often called brain fog. As the threat of Lyme disease grows to more than 300,000 projected cases each year, it's time for us to target Lyme disease. That means checking for ticks when you've been outside, even in your own backyard. It means seeing a doctor if you experience the symptoms of Lyme disease, which can include joint pain, flu-like symptoms, fever, fatigue, or sometimes a bullseye-shaped rash. Set your sights on stopping Lyme. Learn how you can target Lyme disease at targetlyme.org.
The 2024 through 25 college basketball season was one of the best we've ever seen, from buzzer beaters to upsets. This past season was unforgettable. Guys, what are some of your favorite moments from this awesome season?
For me personally, I think you got to look at Houston's late comeback against Duke. Duke had a 91.6% chance to win with just over a minute left to go. They lost, choked that game. Kelvin Sampson said, "No one ever loses at anything as long as you don't quit." They did not quit, and it paid off for them. They won the game. I think that's just the epitome of sports is, never give up, hustle, try as hard as you possibly can until the clock hits triple zeros. They did that, and then they went on to be the national runner-up. So and for me, that's my favorite moment.
My favorite moment is every single Florida game in March. And that is because it's all the same way, and that is they're down double digits late, they come back, and they win in some crazy way. They become Florida. And it's Walter Clayton, Elijah Martin, Hand-Logden, Micah Howe, all those guys. I mean, they hadn't lost a game since like February, and then they went and won the SEC tournament. They looked like the best team in the country. They weren't even the #1 overall seed going in. They still gave it to Auburn.
Robbed.
And they went out and proved a point, and then they won their first national title since 2008. So, I mean, and just them being able to come back. Really, the Texas Tech and the UConn games are probably one of my favorite games of March.
So I've got two.
Okay.
Because I couldn't narrow it down.
Okay.
One of them, McNeese State upsetting Clemson, because there's always got to be a fun upset in March. That happened to be really the only one that we got in the actual tournament. And then I got one that you might not be big on. It was the Tennessee buzzer beater over Alabama. I mean, from a game setup, it doesn't get any better than that. All right, it's two SEC heavyweights. Yeah. But the way you're saying it.
Another one that I liked was the Tennessee and Kentucky game. That being yeah, that one. The actually one good one that Tennessee.
The one
played
where they
good.
actually played well.
But then, if you want to look at a couple other ones, I wasn't able to really watch the McNeese one because I was in Rupp Arena because I was going to watch Tennessee and Wofford that day. So
Most random game Jace has ever attended.
I know, it's probably the most random game I've been to.
Just the average Jace moment. This past weekend, Tennessee dropped yet another conference series, losing to the Auburn Tigers after countless rain delays. Between an offensive slump and some questionable officiating, the Vols once again find themselves trying to figure things out after a tough loss. The big question remains, how does Tennessee break out of this slump?
You start scoring. In 2 of the 3 games, they scored 1 run. That's not going to get done. You know, the bullpen's not been good. Nate Snead has time after time after time folded under the pressure, giving up a big run. So, I mean, I think you got to fix the bullpen for one. Offense needs to be more consistent. We saw on, I think it was Saturday, was that when they scored 6? There's so many rain delays this week, and I couldn't tell. Anyways, game 2, scored 6 runs, played really clean baseball. That's how you get it done. You don't score 1 run, that won't get it done unless you're playing Cy Young level baseball. And you got to quit making little mistakes. We saw Dean Curley 2 weeks ago with LSU. He cost him that series essentially. This week you had some of that same stuff kind of come up and hit you.
And another thing really is that we kind of like see it here is really like base running errors. Like when they have like momentum, like Hunter Ensley had like a big double, I believe it was in the second game, and then just had and then he gets out of second base, just to kind of kills the momentum that they have really there. But so I mean, it's just like the little things I guess really, and I guess it's what comes with kind of really a new team when you lose so many players to the draft, is really you kind of still work kinks up, but then it's like they lose games that they shouldn't lose, like to Auburn, or lose series like that, like to Kentucky,
LSU,
or even LSU. And LSU's a great team, but then they go out and they lost the series to Texas A&M this weekend also. Yeah. So I mean, I guess it's just it reminds me a lot of that 23 team that was going into a Clemson regional.
This team does seem a lot like the 23 team, the team that honestly had no business even making the College World Series. And that's why I think a lot of people aren't necessarily panicking yet. But all of the signs that you should panic are present right now. Like you mentioned, the bullpen's struggling, the offense just isn't present. I mean, they're going to have to turn things around quickly because they've got some tough opponents coming up.
They really are.
Now, a good thing I was going to say is that you don't want to peak in May. You want to peak in June in baseball.
Yeah, you also don't want to be playing terrible baseball.
Well, I mean, yeah, you don't want to be playing terrible baseball in May, and they're 4-12 from the last couple series.
Well, they're also 9-7 at home since March 18th, and 0-3 against series against A&M, Kentucky, and Auburn. So
I don't know, they can't win at home.
Yes,
they have been struggling. We'll take another break from the action, and when we return, we've got some of our best hot takes of the season.
Can you see me? Because I feel like I'm invisible. Like if it weren't for the news, no one would think of this place. But here we have bright spirits and vivid dreams. If only the world could see.
Some places have the power to transform us, connect us, move us. This is the power of place, the power of parks and open spaces to improve cities, communities, and ourselves. This is the work of the Trust for Public Land, putting open space within reach of every person in America. Help us create the power of place and healthier, happier communities nationwide.
Welcome back. It's time for our best hot takes of the season. And Jace, we'll start with yours.
Well, I'm revisiting a hot take that you guys hated for the most part, and it was my most controversial one, so I was like, you know what? I'm bringing it back. The Big Ten's still right now better than the SEC right now in terms of college football. It's the king of the college football world right now. They've proven it in the postseason and in the regular season. You have just so many teams right now that are going to be really good going into the next season. You have Penn State with Drew Allard, Oregon with Dante Moore, who took a seat behind Dylan Gabriel. You have Ohio State that's going to come back and be really good. Just all these teams in the Big Ten I think are going to be really good, and I think continue to prove why they're the best team in the conference right now. But I could take the SEC at some point.
it's horrible.
I'm not big on it. I'm not big on it. Yes, we don't like it.
The Big Ten's stupid. Okay, for mine,
Well, okay,
what's up?
because I believe we're still on
Are we?
Jace's take.
I had no idea. Okay.
Because it's that bad that we
Okay.
can't skip over it yet.
Okay.
It's not even that bad.
It's that bad.
You guys are just SEC
It's the
homers.
SEC.
No, we're not. Okay. I thought it was my turn. It's your turn. I'm going to kill your hot take. It's horrible. Listen to me. The SEC has won more national championships since 2020, because that's your whole thing is, well, it's right now. Well, they've won, they've won more national championships in the last 5 years.
2020 is not right now.
They produce more draft picks, more first-round draft picks as well, more Heisman winners, more award winners. How can you not say that?
It's like 17 or 18 years straight with the most draft picks of any conference.
Golly,
By the way, the SEC, or not the SEC, the Big Ten was like, what, like 6 picks behind the SEC? So, I mean, are they catching up? Maybe.
That's 6 whole players.
6 whole players.
That also does.
That's a
Ohio
whole
State led the way in draft picks.
That's an offensive line.
Who cares? The SEC did it the last 4 years.
That's what happens when you spend like $35 million on a roster, however much they spent. I'm exaggerating. It was probably 25, but still.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Not big on it, Connor.
My apologies. I thought whenever I announced mine first, I thought it was my turn. My bad. But mine is staying in the SEC. It's really bad that Jace had his because I'm going to tear the SEC apart too. I think Georgia is an overrated football program. Okay, they won the back-to-back national championships in 2021 and 2022. But if you look at it, if Jamison Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr. do not get injured, they win this many rings since 1980. Okay. And because of those 2 titles, everyone likes to think that they're a dynasty or they're the gold standard of the sport, and they're really not. They benefited from 2 All-American receivers getting hurt, and they won Mickey Mouse titles because of it. Like I was saying, the back-to-back championships, everyone claims them as the gold standard of the sport. They're not. If you look the last 10, 15, 20 years, Alabama, Ohio State, even Clemson have done more than Georgia has.
100%. I mean, not to mention the fact that there's a bit of a culture problem as well. I believe the number is, I don't know how much, I don't know what the exact number of arrests is.
It's more, they've had more arrests in the last 2 years than wins.
Oh.
I think it's like 25 arrests, 24 wins.
But no, I think the whole deal with the dynasty, I think was blown in proportion with Georgia more than the, I'm not saying they're an elite football program. They're a top 5 program in the country. They have been, but like from recruiting and winning standpoint. But I mean, they're not a dynasty for what they've wanted to make it out to be.
They still can't be Alabama. I get they won that one game because J-Mo got hurt, but every other game they get smoked.
Yeah.
Dynasty's got to be 3 national championships.
Yeah.
I don't believe 2 is it.
That, but also like you can't count one good recruiting cycle as a dynasty. It has to be sustained national championships. If you win back-to-back, that means you hit on all your recruits for one cycle.
Yeah.
You've not done it consistently.
No, I mean, there's been a steep fall off since then. I mean, I'm not saying that it's been terrible, but you look, I mean, the product's just not there.
No.
They can't find a great quarterback. That's been their biggest issue. For my hot take, it's one that I'm going back to our very first episode, and that's that LeBron and Luka will not win a title together. The Lakers will not win another championship until after LeBron retires. And my reasoning being that, A, they still don't mesh together well. The numbers look better on paper, but they aren't being able to take over games the way they used to when they didn't play together. Not to mention that they have a terrible defense, and a part of the defensive problem is they don't have anybody that can play in the paint. They don't have anybody good that can play in the paint.
Lost AD.
They lost AD. They don't have anybody, and they didn't trade for Mark Williams. They decided to back out at the last second. So I don't think they win until LeBron retires because that's when they'll actually have the money to go after somebody who can play defense in the paint.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
I 100% agree with you. Okay, I've been saying, I think I texted you like right after the trade happened, and I said this makes no sense for both sides because Luka he's leaving his old team. They don't have their franchise star anymore. And now the Lakers, they have 2 LeBrons. They have 2 ball hogs who have to have the ball in their hands at all times to make their presence felt on the court. And you're going to butt heads, okay? You're going to have 2 guys not knowing their own role. They need to learn their role as jabronis, and it's going to cost them. They just got swept, Lakers in 5. Shannon Sharp was right, Lakers in 5, but they lost in 5.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, the Lakers need a center. They need a 5 still. No, I'm not going to put all the blame on them for the Mark Williams thing because, I mean, he did fail his physical. So there was a reason they couldn't join the team there at that point. But they need a 5. They need to go out probably in the draft or, like, go in free agency, I would say. Go find somebody because someone's going to want to go to L.A., you would think.
If they got the money, like they're paying all
Somebody
these
will go,
stars.
but again,
But you're relying on a 40-year-old LeBron and Luka.
Hey,
Yeah, I mean,
Dalton
that's
Connect, okay?
If they'd play him, he would be an impact player if they'd play him. But, you know, J.J. Redick, I guess, just does not seem to care for him. We'll be back here in a moment where we'll have a recap of our favorite segment all season, Connor's Question, right after this.
Your Marine Corps' way of life is to defend the American way of life. every day, we take a stand for our nation, for each other, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
We do it. The stars come to Middle Tennessee State University, and students come here to become stars, no matter what they pursue. We do it. We're the only college of media and entertainment in the world, just outside the heart of Nashville.
Mic check 1 2, everybody listen. When you do it like this, ain't no competition. I'm talking BIG, VIP. Treat them like a front row seat and make them pay attention. If I shoot for the 3, then I ain't never missing. Cranking up the degrees like I was in the kitchen. Can't lose, got too much to prove. And when you do it all, it get too hard to do it.
Our curriculum and facilities are cutting edge, and our relationships with industry leaders give students an edge over the competition. Check it out. You can get real-world experience with degrees in recording industry, media arts, journalism and strategic media, and more. Media and entertainment at Middle Tennessee State University. Learn to shine.
You can't buy a best friend. You can love them, pet them, care for them, whether they want you to or not. You can take a picture, you can jump, yell, you can fly to the moon, travel the world, or just stay in bed. You can't buy a best friend like that, but you can adopt one. 'Cause we're connected.
To recap Connor's question, we have a video put together of all of our favorite moments from the season. Thank you to John. Here it is. Welcome back. We've now got our new segment, Connor's Question. Connor, what do we have this week?
But he can develop cornerbacks.
What do you think?
He can develop corners.
Record would be. He retired to play a different sport halfway through his career.
And then came back and won a three-peat. You are cherry picking to the highest level. You're cherry picking to the highest level. All right.
This is. See, now you're in my shoes.
No, because I've got a point. Like, I'm not in your shoes.
Kobe Bryant's gotten propped up since he died. He's not a top 10 player all time.
Okay, that's a hot take by itself. But no, hey, let me talk. He plays his heart out.
The Thunder,
he plays his heart
the
out.
Rockets.
That's not his fault. That is not his fault.
Clippers, Suns, Rockets, Thunder. SpongeBob is not. Maybe
think about Phineas on our flag team.
SpongeBob can
Unknown Commodity was great.
Have more of himself, but I don't know.
That's man, most of that I just kept wondering, you know, what did Jace say in that moment?
And then it came up the moment we were waiting for with Kobe Bryant, Mr. Vincent. Okay, God, you know,
very quiet over there right now.
You know, I'm
still right. He's still a borderline top 10 player.
Shut up.
He's still a borderline top 10 player all time.
Shut up. Okay. You know, I've known Jace very well for 3 years, good friend of mine, but he says, like you saw in the video, a lot of dumb stuff. But I can't yell at him because I don't want to look like a crazy person. So, producer John, I thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to, you know, have this segment so we can just flame on Jace once a week.
I love that as soon as we start talking about it, the first thing he says about the Kobe Bryant take is basically just like,
he's doubling down.
I have no remorse.
He's doubling down on it, which is crazy.
Look, I love the segment in the part that we get to argue about something fun, and I love how I always have to play the side of the guy that has to argue.
No, those are your real opinions.
A lot of these have been your real opinion.
These are sometimes real opinions on the takes, but sometimes I gotta fill in the gap of.
Brother, ain't no way you showed that much emotion and said those things if you were just.
No, none of it. Here, let the camera come back to me. It's not scripted. It's not scripted at all. It's not scripted at all. But I'm saying,
Bro.
I got to get emotional and got to get into
Bro
it.
thinks this is the NFL. This is not the NFL, bro.
He means it. It's not rage baiting. It's purposeful.
Degeneracy at its point.
That's it for Connor's question, but stick around for everyone's picks for the week.
There's only one thing that will save somebody's life, and that is naloxone nasal spray. Get 911 on the phone, get the emergency responses there on their way.
We've now arrived at our final segment, our picks for the week. We'll start with our first game, the Denver Nuggets and the OKC Thunder.
I think OKC bounces back. Chet Holmgren, Jalen Williams, SGA, they do their thing. Thunder.
Game one Thunder, but the series goes to the Nuggets.
Whoa.
For our next pick, it's going to be the Timberwolves and the Warriors.
Give me the Golden State Warriors. The Splash Bros have broken up, but I think Curry dropped a 30-piece McNugget, and they get it done.
Wolves in 6.
I'm going to take the Warriors. For our next game, it's the Cavs and the Pacers.
I want to say Pacers because they won game 1, but the Cavs they have too much talent. Give me the Cavs.
Yeah, I mean, I think Indiana's good for maybe 2 games, I'd say, probably. Down the stretch, maybe they'll win one more, but I'll take Cleveland win in the series.
I'll take the Cavs as well. Knicks and Celtics.
This would be one that the Knicks would, out of nowhere, pick. They take a series, but nah, Celtics. I like the Celtics too much.
Boston because New York sports is cursed.
I think the Celtics have too much talent. I'll take Boston as well. And for our last game, the Tennessee Volunteers and the Vanderbilt Commodores.
It's at Lindsey Nelson Stadium, so Vanderbilt's going to win. They might even sweep at this point.
Tennessee has been bad, but not bad enough to lose to Vandy in baseball the last few years, so I'll take actually Tennessee.
Give me a bounce-back series win for the Volunteers, so I'll take Tennessee as well. That's all the time that we have tonight. We thank you for tuning in all season long, and remember to look for all future episodes of Sportsballin on YouTube and Blue Raider TV when we return this coming fall. For Connor Smith and Jace Vincent, I'm Ethan Markham. We'll see you around. Good night.